RuPaul, I really need you to reel it in. I really need you to understand that you are not Judge R.R. Tolkien. You are not the showrunner of Game of Thrones, or Lost for that matter. You are not going to have these stupid twists for no reason that do absolutely nothing. And that's coming from a German. I love my pretzels. I love a good twist. I like it salty. I like it. I love it. And RuPaul's Drag Race had some great twists in the past. I'm not going to deny that. Like the fact that 4 queens got to go to the finale in season 9. That was a great twist. Or the All-Stars 2 twists with the whole introduction of this new system with queens eliminating themselves, or the Revenge of the Queens episode, still the best episode to date of RuPaul's Drag Race. All of that I love. Or unintentional twists with Naomi Smalls eliminating Manila, or Ben de la Creme being Ben de la Croix eliminating herself. These twists are great. Do they always result in things that people like? No. But are they profound, have substantial meaning, and don't seem overly produced? Yes, which is why they are great. What was this bullshit where you were like, well, half of the queens, you're gone, and then being like, oh, no, actually you can stay, but you'll have to vote somebody off, and like amongst you, like all-stars for no real reason whatsoever. Okay, now you did that, great. Elliot, you're going home, so sorry love, actually stay, put on your Hawaiian shirt, and you actually get to have a benefit over these queens and return to this to the challenge that comes up, and actually not get eliminated, because it's an episode where nobody gets eliminated, but the queens who just wanted to eliminate you have to be in an episode where they get eliminated. I hated it. I didn't hate it that much, but I just did not think it was that good of a decision. But I was wondering, I was sitting there, barbecue sauce on me tits, and I was wondering, would it have been unfair to eliminate Elliot if they wouldn't have had him return? And I wanted to compare that with the queens prior, from season 9 onwards, looking at what they got to do before they were eliminated, comparing this with Elliot, and really thinking and contemplating, would it have been unfair if Elliot got the pork chop and would have been eliminated from season 13 as the first queen to be eliminated? Let's take a look and compare. Let's start our investigation with James Mansfield, obviously from season 9 fame. Before she got eliminated in the second episode, at that point she did quite a lot of things. She had 3 runways, considering the 2 runways of the first episode and the one in her second episode with the white party. She had 1 main challenge in the second episode. You could consider the first episode a main challenge. I'm not going to do that because it wasn't competitive. And you had 1 lip sync against Kimora Black. So quite a bit to go from when RuPaul actually decided then ultimately to eliminate her. Then Vanjie, we had 1 runway, which also was the main challenge, so that's different. It wasn't just a runway she brought, but it was also simultaneously the main challenge in an episode where somebody could have gone home and ended up going home. And 1 lip sync against Khloe Kardashian-Williams. Then we had Soju, love her. We had 1 runway and 1 main challenge here again, and 1 lip sync like Vanjie. But unlike Vanjie, Soju actually also has a leg up on Vanjie because she didn't decide to party during a pandemic and put people around her in risk. What? No, that doesn't matter? Oh, I see. Okay, cool. Next up, obviously, Dahlia Sin from the House of Dolls, right? She had the most amount of chances, I guess, but like data points to go from before she was eliminated. We had 4 runways, 3 in the first episode, 1 in the second episode, 2 main challenges, and 1 lip sync against Nikki Doll. So with these 4 queens, we have different amounts of data points, with James and Dahlia having a lot to go by, with the middle queens less so. So let's compare that now to Elliot with 2 T's. In this scenario where she would have been eliminated, she would have had no runway. I'm not considering the entrance look a runway because that's not intended as a runway look. And we had 1 lip sync, which then also was a 3-way lip sync, which obviously pays some sort of unfairness to it, as you will not be able to pay equal attention to all 3 lip syncers, or at least it will be divided unfairly, or at least to a lower degree than if you would have had a 2-way lip sync. So I think when comparing this with the 4 people prior to this, it's easily said that Elliot, if she would have gone home with a lot less chances to prove herself, and the decision would have been based very much on chance. Speaking of, one of the major things that I think make this really unfair is the fact that the first 4 queens were eliminated by RuPaul, an not unbiased judge, but a judge that isn't simultaneously a competitor, and Elliot would have been eliminated by the choices of her fellow losers, who would have only gone by first impression, which isn't really fair, and might also have gone on by other things. I mean, we know like Kimura knows Denali. This would have been very, very, very unfair. So I think it's fair to say that Elliot shouldn't have been eliminated, and that was great that she got to return, or at least that it really wasn't an elimination to begin with. But what I think is totally unfair is the fact that Elliot then got to come to a team which never would have had an elimination to begin with, and not have been in the same episode like the other 6 queens, who will be in an episode where somebody will probably be going home. That is the buffoonery, the gaggery, and I hate it. Because Elliot, though not deserving to go home, definitely didn't deserve to be saved. There are a lot of other queens in this group that were better. Rosé was better in the lip sync and had a better look. Tamisha definitely would say Tamisha should have stayed and should have gotten that perk, or nobody. If we keep equal playing grounds and say these queens lost the lip sync, so they get some sort of disadvantage, then why the hell should Elliot then get to have this perk, this leg up? Because that will carry on through the entire season, considering how far anyone will go. Because these queens on the right had a lot of higher chance of getting eliminated than Elliot ultimately did. And for what reason exactly? That is unfair. And also just generally, obviously, the fact that the queens on the right now, each one of them has a higher likelihood of going home next week. In comparison, if Elliot was still there, where the chances would have been 1-7 versus now 1-6. Unfairly so. So I think that is really unfair. But that's just my opinion. What do you guys think? Do you think it would have been fair to eliminate Elliot? Would you say that that would have been okay and you would have been feeling like it was justified? Do you think that it is unfair to this group like I do, or do you think it's actually fair? I just think she should have stayed in this group. Nobody should have been eliminated in this episode, and they should have had their little performance the next episode, and that was that, and they would have had a lip sync and fine. This is just unfair to me. But what do you guys think? Leave your opinion in the comment section below. Stay safe. Stan. Oh, who do I stan? I haven't decided yet. I mean, I love Simone, Olivia, Gottmik, of course, Utica. So stan those, but stan Tamisha. Jesus, I love Tamisha too. Don't party, don't be a Vanjie,